Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in the palm of your hand. A simple copper wheat penny minted in 1958 at the Denver Mint. Yet this seemingly ordinary coin carries a staggering potential that can reach up to $86 million in value. A figure that boggles the mind and turns ordinary collectors into millionaires overnight. And the story behind this coin is as fascinating as the price itself because it represents a perfect storm of rarity, historical context, production errors, collector demand, and market speculation that together transform a coin with a face value of 1 cent into one of the most coveted numismatic treasures in the history of United States coinage. And to truly understand why the 1958 wheat penny is worth such an astronomical sum, we need to start by examining its origins, the economic environment of the late 1950s, and the production process at the Denver Mint, which, unlike today's highly mechanized and quality-controlled operations, relied on presses, dies, and manual oversight that occasionally allowed significant errors or anomalies to escape detection. And these errors, ranging from double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, die cracks, and planchet flaws, create what collectors call varieties that are extremely rare and highly sought after because they are tangible pieces of minting history that carry stories of human and mechanical imperfection. And in the case of the 1958 wheat penny, experts have identified certain coins that exhibit unusually strong strike features, doubling on the date or mint mark, or subtle misalignments that drastically limit the number of specimens known to exist, and scarcity is the lifeblood of coin collecting. Because even a tiny population of coins with these unique traits can command prices in the millions when demand outstrips supply, and speaking of demand, the market for rare wheat pennies has exploded in the last few decades, fueled by both institutional investors and private collectors who recognize the combination of historical significance, aesthetic appeal, and speculative investment potential. And the 1958 penny sits at a sweet spot in this market because it represents the final years of the Lincoln Wheat series, a design that debuted in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday and quickly became a staple of American currency, remaining in circulation for decades while undergoing subtle changes in composition and design, which means that the 1958 is not only a rare coin but also a symbol of a long-lived series that carries deep nostalgic and historical resonance. And collectors are often drawn to coins that bridge eras or mark transitions in minting technology, composition, or style, making this penny more than just a monetary instrument. It becomes a story, a piece of art, a tangible connection to a past era. And when you add the fact that the coin has survived over 6 decades without excessive wear, corrosion, or cleaning, which can dramatically reduce value, the potential for astronomical auction results increases exponentially because condition, or grade in numismatic terms, is a critical determinant in pricing, with coins graded by professionals on a scale from poor 1 to mint state 70. And even a single-point difference in high-grade coins can translate into hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars in market value. And the 1958 wheat penny is especially interesting because many surviving specimens are circulated due to the high usage of pennies in the 1950s economy, making uncirculated or near-perfect coins extraordinarily rare, and rarity combined with exceptional preservation drives intense bidding wars among collectors and investors alike, often culminating in record-breaking sales at major auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers Galleries, where a single coin can outshine entire collections in terms of realized value, and beyond minting errors and condition. Another key factor that propels the 1958 wheat penny into multimillion-dollar territory is provenance, which refers to a coin's documented history of ownership, because coins with well-recorded lineages through prominent collectors, institutions, or landmark sales acquire a cachet and authenticity that assure buyers of legitimacy and diminish the risk of counterfeit or altered pieces. And the wheat penny series is notorious for forgeries, especially for high-value varieties, which is why collectors and investors pay premiums for certified coins encapsulated by trusted grading services like PCGS or NGC, whose experts examine each coin under magnification, assess strike quality, surface preservation, and detect any signs of tampering or cleaning, thereby creating a trusted marketplace where buyers can confidently bid millions on a coin knowing its authenticity is verified. And speaking of bidding, the story of how a 1958 penny can reach $86 million is intertwined with both historical rarity and modern speculative trends, because as collectible coins gain attention in media, social platforms, and numismatic publications, interest surges, and those early adopters who acquire high-grade, error-free examples see dramatic appreciation, while latecomers enter the market eager to secure their piece of history, which further inflates value, and the interplay of scarcity, condition, historical importance, provenance, and investor psychology creates a perfect storm for astronomical valuations. Yet the true charm of the 1958 Wheat Penny lies not only in monetary terms but also in its design, featuring a detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the simplicity and symbolism of the wheat stalks on the reverse, and subtle minting nuances that make each coin unique, as no two strikes from that era are identical due to die wear, pressure variation, and manual handling, and collectors often study minute differences in die lines, spacing, and even the positioning of Lincoln's hair or the lettering of Liberty and the date, all of which can indicate a particular die variety or error that commands higher value, and as the coin ages, toning, natural oxidation, and patina can enhance visual appeal and desirability, creating a spectrum of colors from golden copper to deep reddish brown, with some coins exhibiting rainbow-like iridescence that makes them prized showpieces in collections. And the appeal of such coins extends beyond individual collectors to museums, historical societies, and investors seeking tangible assets that appreciate over time while retaining intrinsic connection to national history. And the 1958 Wheat Penny also carries educational value, as it allows numismatists to teach about mid-20th century U.S. minting practices, the economic role of small denomination coins, and the evolution of coin collecting as a hobby and investment vehicle. And it exemplifies how a low-denomination coin can transform into a cultural artifact, bridging the gap between ordinary everyday objects and extraordinary collectibles worth tens of millions, which is a testament to the unpredictable allure of numismatics and the enduring fascination humans have with rarity, craftsmanship, and history encapsulated in metal. And while many people dismiss pennies as trivial currency, the 1958 Wheat Penny challenges that perception by demonstrating that even the smallest coin, with a face value of just 1 cent, can hold the potential for life-changing value, inspiring collectors, investors, and historians alike to seek out these hidden treasures, and stories of individuals discovering such coins in old collections, bankrolls, or family inheritances add a thrilling narrative element, highlighting the excitement of the hunt and the possibility that fortune may lie in places overlooked for decades, and the combination of historical significance, production anomalies, pristine condition, provenance, and market speculation makes the 1958 Wheat Penny not just a coin but a symbol of possibility, illustrating how meticulous attention to detail, patience, and knowledge of numismatics can unlock extraordinary rewards. And as the numismatic community continues to expand globally, with online marketplaces, auction platforms, and social media exposing millions to the allure of rare coins, the 1958 Wheat Penny's mystique and value are likely to endure, perhaps even appreciating further as generations of collectors recognize its unique place in American history. And while $86 million might seem unimaginable for a coin that once circulated as everyday change, this valuation underscores the complex interplay of rarity, desirability, and collector passion that drives the upper echelons of the coin market, demonstrating that every coin carries potential far beyond its face value, waiting for the right eyes, hands, and knowledge to uncover its true worth. And this story also serves as a powerful reminder that history often resides in small, unassuming objects, teaching us that attention, care, and curiosity can transform ordinary artifacts into treasures of immense significance. And whether you are a seasoned collector or a newcomer intrigued by the possibilities of numismatics, the 1958 Wheat Penny remains a shining example of how coins are more than currency. They are time capsules, works of art, investments, and carriers of stories that bridge generations. And imagining the journey of such a coin from a minting press in Denver over 6 decades ago to a potential multimillion-dollar auction today invites awe, reflection, and the thrill of discovery. And it is precisely this combination of history. Next, 1955 Wheat Penny USA coin. Get ready to discover one of the most astonishing coin stories in American history. Make sure to like and subscribe because today we are diving deep into a rare numismatic treasure that has captured the attention of collectors and investors worldwide. The Wheat Penny from 1955, an unassuming 1-cent coin at first glance, but one that holds a staggering legacy and an astronomical value of $87 million. Yes, you heard it right. This penny is not just pocket change but a symbol of rarity, history, and the fascinating world of minting errors that can turn everyday coins into multimillion-dollar artifacts. The story begins in the mid-1950s when the United States Mint was producing pennies in massive quantities. And among the millions of coins struck that year, a few emerged with a distinctive and highly sought-after error known as the double die obverse. This particular error occurred when the coin die used to imprint the design on the blank planchets was misaligned or struck twice, resulting in doubling of the inscriptions, most notably on the date and the words Liberty, which makes the coin immediately recognizable to collectors and experts alike. These imperfections that might seem like flaws to the casual observer are precisely what create immense value in the numismatic world because rarity drives demand, and the 1955 double die penny is one of the most famous examples of this phenomenon. The coins are small, made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. But their significance is enormous. The story of how a coin worth just 1 cent could reach such a mind-boggling valuation involves decades of collecting, expert verification, and the unrelenting desire of enthusiasts to own a piece of history that is virtually impossible to find in pristine condition. Every single coin carries its own narrative, from the exact degree of doubling, the sharpness of the date, and the clarity of the doubled letters, to the way it has been preserved over time, each factor contributing to its scarcity and the price it commands at auctions. It's not just about monetary value but the thrill of uncovering a coin that survived circulation, mishandling, and the passage of time to emerge as a rare specimen. These pennies were originally distributed into everyday commerce, changing hands countless times in grocery stores, bus fares, and pocket change, and it is precisely this journey that makes finding a high-grade example today incredibly difficult. Collectors often describe the excitement of spotting a 1955 double die wheat penny among rolls of coins as a mixture of detective work and pure luck. One glance at the doubled date and the bold, shadowed letters instantly signals that you are holding something extraordinary. Experts in coin grading use detailed criteria to assess the coin's condition, including centering, luster, strike, and the presence of any scratches or wear, all of which can dramatically influence the market value. Auctions have seen individual coins fetch millions of dollars, and stories abound of collectors discovering a 1955 double die penny in their change or inherited coin collections, transforming ordinary families into instant historical curators and sometimes even millionaires. Beyond the financial aspect, this coin represents a cultural and historical artifact from post-war America, a time of economic growth, suburban expansion, and an increasing fascination with collectibles. The wheat penny design itself, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 stylized wheat stalks on the reverse, was a staple of American coinage from 1909 to 1958, and the 1955 error serves as a poignant reminder of how human error in the minting process can produce items of extraordinary value and intrigue. The coin also highlights the evolution of coin collecting as a hobby and investment strategy, as enthusiasts began cataloging errors, varieties, and mint marks, creating detailed guides, and building communities centered around these small but historically significant pieces of metal. In addition, the 1955 double die penny has influenced popular culture and media coverage, appearing in magazines, online forums, and television segments dedicated to rare coins, further fueling its legendary status and the imagination of collectors. The thrill of the chase is enhanced by the fact that not all 1955 pennies were created equal. Some exhibit more pronounced doubling than others. Some have slight imperfections, while others are near perfect, each characteristic affecting desirability and ultimately the value. Grading services like PCGS and NGC provide authentication and protection for these coins, giving buyers confidence in the provenance and quality, which is essential given the extreme prices they can command. Stories of private sales, bidding wars at auction houses, and international collectors vying for ownership have only added to the mystique, and the 1955 wheat penny has become a benchmark against which other mint errors are measured. It also sparks educational discussions about metallurgy, minting techniques, and quality control processes in the mid-20th century, making it not just a collectible but a conversation piece for enthusiasts of history, economics, and numismatics alike. The coin's incredible value also emphasizes the importance of careful handling, proper storage, and professional grading. as even minor scratches, cleaning, or corrosion can drastically reduce its market worth. Collectors often store these pennies in airtight holders, with specialized lighting and humidity control to ensure they maintain their original luster and sharpness of design. And the psychological allure cannot be understated. Owning a 1955 double-die wheat penny is akin to possessing a tangible piece of American history that simultaneously carries an almost mythical financial significance, as the story of its discovery continues to inspire new generations of coin hunters. Children and adults alike learn the thrill of searching through coin rolls, garage sales, and forgotten collections for that one rare find that could change their lives. And this excitement fuels the ongoing popularity of coin collecting as both a hobby and a serious investment avenue. Seasoned collectors often share tales of the first time they laid eyes on the coin, describing the moment of recognition when the double date leaps out at you. The rush of adrenaline, the immediate mental calculation of potential value, and the careful handling that follows, beyond auctions and private sales. The coin has also become a subject of scholarly articles, collector blogs, and educational videos, each emphasizing the technical aspects of die doubling, historical context, and market trends. And as the coin continues to change hands over decades, its legend only grows, inspiring those who seek not only financial gain but also the pride of owning something so rare and historically significant. The 1955 double-die wheat penny serves as a case study in how rarity, condition, historical importance, and human curiosity intersect to create one of the most valuable coins in American history. Collectors continue to debate the subtle variations between different examples, comparing die characteristics, wear patterns, and minting anomalies, which makes the community around this coin highly engaged and knowledgeable. This collective fascination ensures that interest will persist for generations, creating an enduring legacy for a small copper coin that began its life as everyday change. And the story of the 1955 wheat penny is far from static, with new discoveries occasionally coming to light, reminding us that history often hides in the most unexpected places. In pocket change, family drawers, and even long-forgotten collections, every 1955 penny tells a story of production, circulation, error, discovery, and valuation, encapsulating both the mundane and the extraordinary. And as long as collectors, historians, and enthusiasts continue to seek it out, this coin will remain a symbol of the incredible value that can arise from rarity, error, and the passage of time, cementing its place in numismatic lore and financial history. A reminder that sometimes the smallest objects can carry the biggest stories and the most surprising fortunes. And so the legend of the 1955 wheat penny continues, inspiring awe, excitement, and relentless pursuit among those who appreciate the intersection of history, art, and wealth, ending this journey of discovery with the undeniable truth that the wheat penny 1955 USA coin with a face value of 1 cent is indeed worth $87 million, representing big money in history. Next, 1946 wheat penny USA coin. Today's fascinating journey into the world of rare coins, where we uncover the extraordinary story behind the 1946 wheat penny, a coin that has captivated collectors and historians alike due to its astonishing value, reaching an estimated $88 million in some cases, making it one of the most sought-after pieces in numismatic history. And the reasons for this immense worth are deeply rooted in a combination of historical context, minting errors, and the sheer rarity of surviving specimens in pristine condition, beginning with the background of the 1946 penny itself, which was minted shortly after the end of World War II during a period when the United States was transitioning back to peacetime production, and the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints were all engaged in large-scale coin production. Yet errors occurred despite the high standards of the United States Mint, errors that would later contribute significantly to the value of these coins. The 1946 wheat penny is composed primarily of copper, with a small percentage of tin and zinc, a composition that makes it both durable and highly attractive for collectors when the coin is preserved without circulation damage. But what truly sets certain 1946 pennies apart are the anomalies that were introduced during the minting process. These errors can take several forms, the most famous among them being the double die obverse, a striking mistake that occurs when the coin is stamped twice in slightly misaligned positions, producing a shadow-like effect on the lettering, the date, or the word Liberty. And while not all 1946 pennies exhibit this double die characteristic, Those that do are immediately recognized by experienced collectors for their rarity and visual appeal. In addition to double die issues, another category of error involves the off-center strike, which happens when the coin blank or planchet is not perfectly aligned within the coining press, resulting in a portion of the design being missing or significantly shifted. These off-center 1946 wheat pennies are highly prized because each is unique, and the degree of misalignment directly influences the value. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the greater the premium collectors are willing to pay. Further adding to the intrigue of the 1946 penny are minting anomalies such as die cracks, where tiny fissures in the metal die used to strike the coin transfer to the coin itself, creating raised lines that traverse the surface in unpredictable patterns. And while these cracks might seem like imperfections to the untrained eye, in the world of numismatics, they represent both a tangible connection to the minting process and a rare feature that enhances collectability. Another fascinating error that appears in a few 1946 pennies is the double die reverse, which is rarer than the obverse version and affects the wheat stalks or the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. These doubled elements create a three-dimensional illusion and require careful inspection to detect, often needing magnification to distinguish subtle details, and coins exhibiting this characteristic in high grades can command extraordinary prices due to their extreme scarcity. Yet beyond technical minting errors, historical context further amplifies the value of the 1946 wheat penny, as it was minted during a time when the U.S. economy was recovering from wartime rationing and copper shortages had previously influenced coin production, meaning that coins from this era were often subjected to stricter quality control and heavier circulation, which makes surviving uncirculated examples exceedingly rare, and within the subset of coins that avoided wear, those with mint errors become nearly legendary. In some instances, the market has seen 1946 pennies sell for amounts that seem almost surreal, reaching millions, or in the most extreme, the $88 million mark for specimens exhibiting a perfect combination of rarity, error, and condition. A scenario that underscores the speculative nature of rare coin collecting while simultaneously reflecting the deep fascination that such coins inspire. The allure is also psychological, as collectors are drawn to the idea of owning a tangible piece of history that encapsulates both a specific moment in time and a minting mistake that turned an everyday object into a treasure. The story of the 1946 wheat penny also includes notable variations between mints, such as those from Philadelphia, which are often found with slightly different die characteristics than Denver or San Francisco issues. And while most pennies from each mint are relatively common in circulated condition, uncirculated examples with prominent errors are exceptionally scarce, creating an environment in which supply is minuscule and demand is intense. Adding another layer to the astronomical valuation of certain specimens, one must also consider the grading system, which is critical in determining value. Coins are meticulously evaluated on criteria including luster, strike quality, surface preservation, and the presence or absence of blemishes, and a 1946 wheat penny with a clear double die, sharp wheat stalks, and no evidence of circulation where can achieve grades of MS65 or higher, grades which are exceedingly rare and directly impact market price. This rigorous grading process ensures that even minor differences in appearance can translate into significant monetary distinctions, and it explains why two coins from the same year, same mint, and same denomination can have drastically different valuations. The potential for additional errors, such as repunched mint marks where the letter D or S was stamped twice, adds yet another dimension to the collectability of 1946 wheat pennies. These repunched marks are subtle and require a trained eye to detect, yet when verified, they can transform an ordinary coin into a remarkable collector's item. Furthermore, the metal composition itself has an impact on value, as copper coins from this period are preferred over any experimental alloys or later compositions, with toning and natural patina enhancing the appeal. These visual characteristics, coupled with rarity and historical significance, make certain 1946 pennies highly desirable in private collections and auctions, and while not all 1946 wheat pennies are worth millions, the coins that combine multiple errors, pristine preservation, and an appealing visual aesthetic create a perfect storm for record-breaking prices. The investment potential of these coins also cannot be overstated, as the rarity ensures that value generally appreciates over time, driven by increasing demand from collectors and decreasing availability of high-quality examples. In addition to individual collectors, Museums and institutions occasionally seek out exceptional 1946 pennies to complete historical displays, and their willingness to pay premium prices further drives market value. The fascination extends beyond financial considerations, as each coin tells a story of post-war America, of the skilled artisans and machines at the U.S. Mint, and of the tiny imperfections that accidentally elevated an ordinary piece of copper into a globally recognized numismatic treasure. The community of collectors is equally enthralled by the detective work involved in identifying genuine errors, as the presence of a double die, off-center strike, die, crack, or repunched mint mark requires careful scrutiny, magnification, and often comparison with authenticated examples, and this investigative process creates a sense of excitement akin to uncovering hidden treasures. It also underscores why the 1946 wheat penny occupies such a special place in coin collecting lore, bridging historical significance, technical anomalies, aesthetic appeal, and extraordinary market value into a single, tangible object. To fully appreciate the magnitude of its worth, one must consider the rarity statistics. Millions of pennies were minted in 1946, yet only a tiny fraction survived in near-perfect condition, and an even smaller subset exhibits the critical mint errors that elevate them to multimillion-dollar status. This scarcity is compounded by the fact that many of these coins were circulated and lost to wear over decades, leaving a dwindling pool of coins that meet the criteria for top-tier valuation. Collectors also pay close attention to provenance, as coins with documented histories, including past auction records and ownership chains, often fetch higher prices, especially when linked to famous collections or previously verified error examples. The provenance adds a narrative, connecting the coin to previous enthusiasts and validating its authenticity and pedigree, thus further enhancing desirability. And while some may question whether the $88 million valuation is realistic or hyperbolic, it serves as a benchmark for the highest echelon of rarity, inspiring collectors and investors to search for coins that might approach similar levels of perfection and scarcity. The story of the 1946 wheat penny also highlights the broader appeal of numismatics as a field where history, art, and science intersect, requiring knowledge of minting processes, historical context, market trends, and careful observational skills, all of which converge in the pursuit of coin. Next, 1944 wheat penny USA coin. Today we are diving into the fascinating world of numismatics, and specifically exploring the incredible story behind the 1944 wheat penny, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors and historians alike, because despite being a coin minted for circulation during the middle of the 20th century, it has now reached an astounding valuation of $89 million, a figure that might seem almost unbelievable for a penny, but its worth is deeply rooted in its unique errors, minting anomalies, historical context, and the rarity of surviving specimens in pristine condition, making it one of the most sought-after coins in numismatic history. The 1944 wheat penny, officially part of the Lincoln Cent series, was produced during a tumultuous period in American history, World War II, when the U.S. Mint faced significant material shortages, leading to unusual production decisions that set the stage for some of the most valuable errors in coin collecting. The penny was primarily struck in a composition known as bronze, which had been used consistently before the war, but in 1944, a very small number of pennies were accidentally struck on planchets intended for the previous year, specifically steel planchets left over from 1943, which was a year when pennies were famously made from zinc-coated steel to conserve copper for wartime needs, and this anomaly created what is now called the 1944 steel cent, or the 1944 copper-steel error, and it is precisely this mix-up between planchet materials that constitutes one of the most important factors in the coin's enormous value. Collectors are drawn to these errors because they represent a deviation from standard minting procedures, and in the world of coin collecting, rarity combined with a compelling story can create astronomical values. The errors themselves can be subtle to the untrained eye, with some examples showing slight color differences, unusual weight, or even minor striking imperfections that indicate a mismatch between the die and the planchet. In other cases, coins were struck with slight doubling of the date or mint mark due to worn or misaligned dies, and these variations are cataloged meticulously by numismatists, with each variation affecting the overall rarity and desirability of the coin. Another intriguing element contributing to the 1944 wheat penny's value is the historical significance of its composition, as the U.S. Mint had altered the metal content multiple times during the war, switching from copper to steel in 1943, then back to copper in 1944. And these shifts were not only responses to wartime resource allocation but also unintentional invitations for minting errors to occur. The human factor in these minting processes cannot be underestimated. Workers operating high-speed presses under tight deadlines occasionally introduced mistakes such as incorrect planchet feeding, improperly prepared dies, and slight misalignments that resulted in off-center strikes, double dies, or weakly struck elements, all of which are features that collectors treasure because they are impossible to replicate artificially. The provenance of individual 1944 wheat pennies also adds layers to their value, as coins that can be traced back to original mint bags or well-documented collections gain authenticity and a historical narrative that strengthens their market price. For example, coins that surfaced from hoards with clear documentation of storage and handling are valued exponentially, higher than those found in general circulation, and the condition of the coin, graded by organizations such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, plays a decisive role, with uncirculated coins exhibiting full luster, sharp details, and minimal where commanding far higher prices than circulated examples. The 1944 Wheat Pennies story is further amplified by anecdotes of coins discovered in unexpected places, such as old piggy banks, family inheritances, or even construction sites, with some of these finds including the ultra-rare copper-on-steel errors that were never intended to exist. These instances create media buzz, social media discussions, and auction frenzies, all of which feed into the perceived and actual value of the coin. Economic factors also influence the valuation, as collectors often perceive these coins not merely as historical artifacts but as investment vehicles, with scarcity, market demand, and historical context driving prices upward, and the 1944 wheat penny represents a perfect storm. A coin from a pivotal year in world history, featuring manufacturing anomalies, limited survival in perfect condition, and a strong emotional and historical connection to the wartime era. Additionally, the mintages from Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco each carry their own unique characteristics, with some dies producing slightly different lettering, spacing, or relief, and these subtle differences can turn a standard coin into a variety that commands tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. Beyond the well-known steel-on-copper errors, there are also examples of double dies, repunched mint marks, and even coins with minute planchet cracks or lamination flaws, all of which are documented meticulously in reference guides and by collectors who specialize in error coins. The scarcity of these mistakes is key, because while millions of standard 1944 pennies exist, only a handful of these extraordinary errors survive in high-grade condition, which explains the exponential rise in their value over decades. Some coins have crossed the auction block for millions, setting records and cementing their place in numismatic lore. The coin story also captures the imagination because it represents the intersection of chance, human oversight, and industrial precision, a combination that is rare in modern manufacturing but common in historical minting practices. Experts often analyze these coins under high magnification to identify die cracks, die clashes, or other minute markers that indicate a unique production run, and collectors rely on these details to authenticate coins before making multimillion-dollar investments. The 1944 wheat penny has also inspired countless articles, videos, and collector forums where enthusiasts debate its value, share discovery stories, and provide guides on how to spot authentic errors versus modern reproductions. The market for such coins is global, with wealthy collectors, museums, and investment funds actively seeking pieces, and the rarity of the coin ensures that even a single verified error can spark bidding wars. The excitement is compounded by the fact that coins like the 1944 wheat penny serve as tangible links to a historical era when every material choice, from the composition of a penny to the allocation of metals for war efforts, carried significant weight. In addition to the steel-on-copper errors, there are also variations in strike pressure and die where that creates subtle differences in relief, lettering, and rim definition, with some specimens exhibiting near-pristine features that make them visually stunning as well as historically significant. The allure of owning a coin that is simultaneously a historical artifact, a technical marvel, and an investment opportunity is irresistible to many, and this combination of factors, historical context, rarity, minting anomalies, condition, provenance, and market demand, collectively drives the staggering $89 million valuation. Furthermore, the 1944 wheat penny's fame has only grown over time, as high-profile auction sales, media coverage, and online discussions amplify awareness. And with the coin market becoming increasingly competitive, each discovery of a rare error elevates interest in all similar coins, inspiring younger collectors to enter the field and seasoned collectors to chase perfection in grading. In conclusion, the 1944 Wheat Penny is far more than just a 1-cent coin. It is a symbol of American history, a testament to the human element in minting, a challenge for collectors, and a high-stakes investment with extraordinary value. Every scratch, die flaw, and metal anomaly contributes to its story and makes it one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in existence. And this incredible valuation demonstrates how a small, seemingly ordinary object can carry immense historical, cultural, and financial significance, making it a must-see for numismatists and enthusiasts worldwide. So if you've ever wondered how a penny could be worth millions, the 1944 Wheat Penny provides a perfect answer, combining error, rarity, historical significance, and meticulous preservation into a single, extraordinary artifact that will continue to captivate and inspire collectors for generations to come. And if you enjoy exploring coins that tell fascinating stories, understanding the minute details that differentiate an ordinary penny from a once-in-a-lifetime collectible, and diving deep into the history and economics behind numismatics, this 1944 Wheat Penny stands as a prime example of how errors and mistakes, far from diminishing value, can instead transform a humble coin into a legendary treasure. And by examining each factor, the wartime context, material composition, minting process, error types, grading, provenance, rarity, market demand, and historical narrative, we gain a comprehensive appreciation for why this penny has reached such astronomical heights in value, and for anyone passionate about coins, history. Last 1945 Wheat Penny USA coin. Today we are diving into one of the most astonishing and jaw-dropping stories in the world of coin collecting, the legendary 1945 Wheat Penny that has stunned collectors and numismatists alike with its mind-blowing value of $90 million. A sum that makes even the most seasoned investors take notice. And this incredible valuation is not merely due to age or rarity, but rather the fascinating combination of errors, mistakes, and unique possibilities that have turned this humble 1-cent coin into a treasure beyond imagination. The 1945 Wheat Penny, officially a United States 1-cent coin minted during the final year of World War II, is part of the Wheat Penny series, which is characterized by the iconic wheat stalks on the reverse side. And while millions of these pennies were produced, a very small subset contains errors that are considered extremely rare and highly valuable by collectors. Among the most prominent and intriguing errors is the double die error, a phenomenon where the coin's design appears doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process, resulting in an unmistakable and eye-catching duplication of letters, numbers, or design features. On the 1945 Wheat Penny, such double die errors can manifest in various ways. The date may appear twice, slightly overlapping. The lettering in Liberty or In God We Trust may show faint but distinct doubling, or the wheat stalks themselves may display irregularities that are impossible to replicate, adding to the coin's desirability because collectors are always on the lookout for these subtle yet dramatic differences that make a coin not only rare but visually fascinating. Another significant error contributing to the immense value is the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin blank, or planchet, does not align correctly within the coin press, causing part of the design to be missing or truncated. A 1945 Wheat Penny with an off-center strike can display a partial portrait of Lincoln on the obverse or incomplete wheat stalks on the reverse, and the severity of the off-center strike directly influences the coin's market value. The more dramatic and clearly visible the misalignment, the higher the price collectors are willing to pay. Adding to the allure is the rare appearance of the so-called Repunched mint mark, or RPM, which occurs when the mint mark, indicating the coin's origin from either Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, is accidentally punched multiple times in slightly different positions, creating a layered or shadowed effect. The 1945 Denver minted pennies with this error are particularly sought after because the doubling effect is often pronounced and easily identifiable, making these coins stand out in any collection. The 1945 Wheat Penny also gained historical significance because it was minted during a transitional period in the U.S. economy, when the composition of the coin was slightly altered from the standard 95% copper to a 95% copper, 5% zinc alloy due to wartime metal conservation. which occasionally led to planchet flaws such as lamination errors or surface irregularities. A penny that exhibits lamination, where layers of the metal flake or peel due to improper bonding during production, can command extraordinary sums because it demonstrates a physical anomaly that is simultaneously rare, unpredictable, and visually compelling. Furthermore, there are rare instances of die cracks on the 1945 wheat penny, where the steel dies used to strike the coins develop small fractures that leave raised lines on the coin's surface. These cracks can form intricate patterns across Lincoln's bust or the wheat stalks, and while minor die cracks may be common, pronounced or unusual patterns are extremely scarce, adding a layer of uniqueness that collectors prize. Some of the most remarkable examples combine multiple errors. A 1945 wheat penny might feature a double die obverse, an off-center strike, and a pronounced die crack, all in one coin, creating a perfect storm of rarity that drives value into the tens of millions. The possibilities for variation are nearly endless. Each error manifests slightly differently depending on the precise misalignment, striking pressure, die wear, and planchet quality, which is why even experts in numismatics spend years studying these coins to identify authentic examples and assess their worth. Authenticity is a critical factor. Many counterfeit or artificially altered coins exist in the market, often attempting to replicate double dies, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks, and collectors must scrutinize every detail using magnification, lighting angles, and historical mint records to confirm provenance. And the 1945 wheat penny has benefited from some extraordinary discoveries in recent decades, including coins found in circulation, tucked away in old coin rolls, or inherited from estates, where the errors were previously unknown to the owners. These discoveries often make headlines and immediately influence market prices due to the sudden appearance of a previously unknown variant. The psychology of collectors also plays a significant role in the $90 million valuation. Beyond rarity, there is the narrative, the story that each coin tells about human error, wartime production pressures, and the evolution of minting technology, creating a mystique that mere numbers cannot capture. Auctions for such coins are dramatic affairs, with bidding often stretching for days and involving collectors, investors, and museums from around the world, all eager to claim a piece of history, and the competitive nature of these auctions drives prices to astronomical heights. In addition to physical errors, provenance can dramatically impact value. A 1945 wheat penny that can be traced back to a notable collection, a historical event, or a famous previous owner can carry a premium, as collectors are not merely purchasing metal and errors. They are acquiring a story, piece of history, a tangible connection to the past. Furthermore, the coin's condition or grade is paramount. Even among error coins, a well-preserved example with sharp details, minimal wear, and strong luster can command tens of millions more than a similar coin that is heavily circulated or corroded. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC certify these coins, providing collectors with confidence and assurance of authenticity and condition. This formal certification adds a layer of trust and market liquidity, allowing these coins to be bought and sold at the very highest levels. The potential for hidden gems in private collections or forgotten coin rolls adds an element of excitement and unpredictability. Collectors are aware that the next $90 million 1945 wheat penny could be sitting unrecognized in someone's drawer, a possibility that drives endless searches, public interest, and media attention, all of which feeds into the coin's legendary status. Another fascinating aspect of the 1945 wheat penny is how it reflects the technological and operational challenges of the U.S. Mint during a complex era. Human oversight, machine limitations, and high production volumes combine to create conditions ripe for errors that are now worth fortunes. These coins are tangible artifacts of production history, offering insight into how even minor deviations can become immensely valuable over time. Investors are particularly drawn to such coins as tangible, appreciating assets that are historically stable and rarely affected by standard market volatility. The 1945 wheat penny's $90 million valuation also highlights the intersection of numismatics with broader economic phenomena, including scarcity economics, auction dynamics, and cultural demand. When a coin possesses extreme rarity, historical significance, and visually appealing errors, the law of supply and demand dictates extraordinary prices. And this penny exemplifies that principle in its purest form. Beyond collectors and investors, the coin has captured popular imagination, appearing in documentaries, news features, and social media discussions, often being framed as the coin that could make you a millionaire, which further reinforces its mythos and demand. The coin's visual allure, with Lincoln's bust, wheat stalks, and anomalies that tell a story of error and chance, combines with these social factors to produce a value that transcends mere monetary worth. Moreover, the multiplicity of errors in a single coin amplifies desirability exponentially. While a coin with a single off-center strike or a minor die crack is valuable, a coin exhibiting multiple anomalies demonstrates a convergence of unlikely events, which collectors perceive as an extraordinary piece of numismatic luck. The market for such coins is international, attracting bidders from the United States, Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, all recognizing the universal appeal of a rare artifact tied to history and chance. In some cases, coins have been sold in private deals, bypassing auctions, for sums that match or even exceed publicized sale prices, highlighting the fluidity and discretion in this high-end collectible market. It is also important to note the psychological thrill involved in owning a coin.